Hey, what's good, guys? It's Clutch and Essam here, back in another video. And for today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Houston Texans. We're doing another free agent target video, and this one is specifically for one player alone. And now, before I start the video, I want to make it known that personally, I don't think the Houston Texans are going to target him, or at least I can see a world and where both they do want to target him and where they don't want to target him. But if I was a Texan, or if I was just neutral, I think they'd rather not target him. And not because he's a bad player. I mean, he's one of the better interior defensive linemen in the whole league. I mean, Chris Jones, which is the player I'm going to talk about, he's an elite player, and he has been throughout his whole career. But I just can't see the Houston Texans making him what he wants to be, the highest paid, at least interior defensive lineman. I'm not sure if he wants to be the highest paid defensive lineman in general, but I do know for sure he wants to be the highest paid interior defensive lineman. So would Houston do that? Would they feel comfortable doing that? Now, the type of player Chris Jones is, he's definitely worthy of it. I mean, this season alone, he had 10.5 sacks. Last year with Kansas City, he had 15.5, which is the most he's had in his career. He also had 15.5 in 2018. So he's proven to be able to get double-digit sacks throughout his career. He's proven to be able to get pressure on the quarterback. He's proven to be able to disrupt the run. He's proven to just do everything you would want your defensive tackle, your interior defensive lineman to do. And adding him onto a team that already has Will Anderson on the outside, and in this scenario, I would assume we let Jonathan Grenard walk. I just couldn't see us paying. I couldn't see us paying 3 defensive linemen, at least in the future, with Will Anderson getting paid. On the books, we would have. Let's see, we would have Will Anderson on the books soon. We would have Chris Jones on the books soon, assuming he'd still be under contract with us. And then we'd have Jonathan Grenard. So, I mean, I couldn't see us paying 3 defensive linemen. So, in this scenario, Jonathan Grenard would have to walk. So, maybe we draft a guy to be our edge, like maybe in the second and third round, and then have Chris Jones, and then have Will Anderson. And now I wouldn't be mad at that at all. That's an elite defensive line room. I mean, you can't ask for anything more. You have a top 3 interior defensive linemen in Chris Jones. You have a top, what I think is probably going to be a top 10 edge this season. Probably already is a top 10 edge, but solidify himself as a top 10, top 7 edge this year in Will Anderson. And I think that's a recipe for success on your defense, and not only your defense, but your defensive line. I think this past year, I think we broke the sack record, or the franchise sack record for us. So if we were to add Chris Jones, I think we would only break the record again in back-to-back years. We would break our own record, our own franchise record of it. So adding Chris Jones, it brings a lot of positives in terms of the actual in-game aspect. But then I don't want to say he brings any negativity, but he does seem to kind of have that, I don't want to say attitude problem. He just has that certain thing about him that's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he just has that certain edge to him. And now, in a lot of senses, that could be a good thing to have about you. I mean, CJ Stroud has it. We've heard about it from Nick Casseri. We've heard about it from D'Amico Ryans. We've heard about it from people pretty much the whole last year about how CJ Stroud just has this edge about him. And Chris Jones has that edge about him too. But I think it's a different type of edge. I'm not sure if that's the type of guy you would want around in your locker room unless you're confident. It wouldn't really disrupt it. No, I'm not saying Chris Jones, he's this bad locker room guy, because that's not the case. His teammates love him. He's a good guy. But you have to take in account of everything. Yes, you want to win now. You want to add as many pieces around your rookie quarterback. You want to build this team up before you eventually have to pay CJ Stroud and probably make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. But then again, you want to do that with players that you know are good. Like, I don't know how to explain. I don't want to say. Again, it's kind of contradicting myself because it's kind of saying that he's not a good locker room guy. But I'm not saying that. He's not a bad locker room guy. He just has something about him that's like, I mean, personally, I think that if anything, it would help. I think, because you want guys like that. I don't know. I keep contradicting myself. My opinion, I think we should sign him. Do I think we're gonna do it? I don't think so. But the reason I do want him, we do need that type of guy in our locker room. We need that guy that's gonna have that certain thing about him. That he plays mad, that he's mad, or that he has, like, I don't want to say anger issues, but that type of guy who plays with a chip on his shoulder, kind of, but like I don't know how to explain it. But we need that type of guy on the defense. We need that guy who's going to have that dog, who's going to bring that dog. We already have Will Anderson, who has that dog, but in a good way. Now we need Chris Jones, who can bring that dog in a bad way. Not in a bad way. Oh my God, I keep doing it again. But yeah, I think we should sign him. He's a proven double-digit sack guy. Great interior defensive lineman. The only negatives, he's 29, soon to be 30, and he's probably going to be the highest paid interior defensive lineman, which I talked about a little bit earlier. Could we afford that? Right now, yes, we can. We can easily afford that. But is it smart to do in terms of taking everything into account in the future? Personally, yeah, I do think so. I mean, CJ Stroud is not going to be up for a contract for another 2 to 3 years. We don't have to pay him for another 3 to 4, I think. You don't have to pay him until like the 3rd, 4th year. So we can sign Chris Jones like a 3 to 4 year deal. And then by the time we have to pay CJ Stroud, his contract is off the books, assuming he's already like 33-ish, 33, 32, late 32. So we can have Chris Jones on a big old deal until CJ Stroud is up for a contract, and we just continue to add elite guys. And by the time CJ Stroud's contract is up, you won't really have to worry about paying them. And I guess in a scenario, you also could bring back Jonathan Grenard if you still sign Chris Jones, but that is acclimating a lot of money into one positional group, one position room, and I'm just not sure that's the smartest thing to do. I think if you do go out and sign a Chris Jones, you probably draft a rookie to end up replacing Jonathan Grenard, or at least that's what I would do. But yeah, I think signing Chris Jones wouldn't be a bad idea at all. It would be a great idea. It brings the top 10 defensive player into this defensive room. I mean, Chris Jones, I think personally he's a top 10 defensive player in this league. He's probably closer to the bottom half of it, like the 8 to 9 range, but he's a top 10 defensive player in the NFL. And adding that into a defense who already has a top 7 cornerback in Derek Stingley, a top 10 edge in Will Anderson, an up-and-coming rising star in Christian Harris, and maybe we draft a linebacker like a Jeremiah Trotter or a Cooper from Texas A&M or something like that. We're only adding more and more talent to this defense, and that's exactly what we need to win. I mean, all in all, it's been said throughout history, defense wins championships, and I mean, adding Chris Jones does just that. But yeah, I don't want to say I dragged the video on a little bit too long, because I mean, it's kind of just a quick yes or no answer. Is Chris Jones, should he be a potential target for Houston? My heart says yes, my fandom says yes, but when you try to think of it from the Texans and the Caserio standpoint, I can see more where it doesn't make sense for them. But then if you really, really are serious about wanting to just go all in, wanting to build this team up while CJ Stroud is still on his rookie deal, then I think Chris Jones makes all the sense in the world. An elite defensive lineman, an elite player, adding him to this defense, it just does so much more for your team in general. So yeah, I definitely think so. But yeah, let me know y'all's guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Would y'all be in favor for signing Chris Jones? Now, let me mention how much he's making right now. I'm not sure if I mentioned this already, but he's making $19 million right now. He's probably going to end up being paid $23 million, somewhere in that range. So he'd be making $24 million a year. Just gonna put that out there. But yeah, let me know y'all's guys' thoughts down below in the comments. It's been Clutch, Senior, and Timid, and hope you guys have a good day. Peace.